It's time for another hot take with your guy, Jonathan Mathis, the sports judge. It's Saturday, March 15th. Welcome to the channel. This is Speaking with Judgment. Thank you for tuning in. The amount of disrespect OKC gets is crazy. I can say the level of disrespect has been consistent. When we start talking about the overall picture of this team, I was watching them a couple of weeks ago. I was locked in again when they played the Celtics the other night. You're telling me you still doubt this team and say it's because they're too young, they lack experience? I will not dismiss the fact that the OKC Thunder have built such a ridiculously dynamic offense with elite floor spacing and great ball movement. And the level in which everybody has elevated their game, OKC is the best in the West, and it's not even close. Very solid team with a solid offense and defense, and they go on runs at the right time. They clinched the playoff berth by beating the Boston Celtics 118-112 on Wednesday night in a much anticipated potential NBA Finals preview. SGA went off, scored 34, and Chet Holmgren had 23 points and 15 rebounds to help the Oklahoma City Thunder get a statement win. Quite a statement right there. And still, they don't get enough credit. I'm impressed with OKC and what this team has done. Why is OKC being slept on? What else you want them to do? I mean, the lack of respect shown by the vast majority is astonishing, is astounding when they lead the Western Conference with the most wins. It was raining threes the other night for Boston. OKC withstood a plethora of Boston threes. When we talk about a complete team, a team with so much depth, so much lineup versatility, a fierce defense, I'm looking at this OKC team. I think these guys are coming out of the West. It's a collective effort from a tight-knit group. I've never seen a more tight-knit group. It's a brotherhood. All the way down the roster, OKC has guys who can defend, shoot, and score. They lean on their defense as they've taken a significant step this season. This OKC team can make a run if health permits when they get into the playoffs. I think they can beat anybody in the West. I would pencil them in as a victory against anybody in the West and even the East if they get to the NBA Finals. They've already beaten Boston twice. We can start favoring the Thunder to win the title. There's not a team in the Western Conference that can beat them in a 7-game series. They're first in defensive rating, first in half-court defense, first in rim protection, first in defense versus on-ball screens, first in defense versus drives, first in defense versus isolations, first in deflections per game, first in steals per game, first in opponent turnover rate, first in points per game off turnovers, first in opponent points per game off turnovers. That's every statistical category defense-wise. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, to me, is the player that can take over a game and lead his team. We're talking about a guy who is probably the best finisher in the league. Why do I bring that up? You know how disrespected he is? Nobody talks about him being a top guard in this league the way they talk about Luka, Kyrie, Bronson. He is noticeably a better defender and a significantly better mid-range shooter. He's been a damn good guard. You watch this guy and you're just like, he's the league MVP. If he doesn't win it this year, then it's a real travesty because this man has produced MVP numbers. And I just think he's having too good of a season not to give it to him. I'm pretty sure I'm not alone on this, and I felt honestly he should have won last year and that he got robbed of the award in broad daylight. That's why this team is already in a position where they believe they can compete with anybody because they've proven all year that they can compete with anybody. I just can't. This OKC team is patient, unselfish, talented, exceptionally well coached, deep and hot. This team and locker room vibes are unbeatable, and not enough people are drawn to the allure of this team. A team that hypes each other up, stands tall together, and wins basketball games, doing it impressively and at such a high level. It's more than just style. It's about presence, energy, and toughness. The chemistry they have is great. This confidence, man, I love it. One of the big stories of the NBA is the OKC Thunder. I think this team is legit. Seems like nobody is stopping them because OKC is clearly better than your team in just about everything, if not everything. They have two of everything. Multiple wing players, multiple centers, and bigs. They can go so fast that they can limit what you can do. It's like, man, who can stop this team because they play fast and loose and because they're young and have high motors. The supporting cast to Shea is balanced and do different things. There's not a guard right now who goes to the basket, finishes, or gets fouled like SGA. You must beat them because they won't beat themselves with poor positioning, bad shots, and turnovers. And so I've already convinced myself this is the one team you don't want to play. The Nuggets are just old news at this point. They're slow and lazy. Some days they don't even show up. The Suns have a toxic locker room. No one is on the same page. There's definitely a disconnect. The Lakers have LeBron and Luka and was the hottest team until they dropped 3 straight in LeBron's absence. And size matters. It's a hard thing to sell to anyone that the Lakers have enough strength, the ability to survive and walk all over OKC when they don't stand tall and don't have size and even depth. The Timberwolves are playing well. They're hot right now, winning games, but I don't think it's sustainable for a deep run. The execution and depth of the Timberwolves were too much for the Nuggets the other night. I think the only team that matches up well against OKC, though, in the West is Minnesota. Their size could give OKC problems in the playoffs, but I think OKC can beat Minnesota in a 7-game series. I think people are sleeping on just how complete of a team OKC is. I don't see how they don't come out of the West. They're loud, strong, fast, physically gifted, disruptive, and tough. A starting lineup entirely under 25 years old. Hard to believe that they'll get beat by anybody they play in the playoffs. It seems like they could really win it all. Great role players, positional size, rebounding, elite coaching. This is probably the deepest team. I'm going to say this. This is probably the deepest team in NBA history. OKC is built different, and it's really not even close. Yet, they got no love from anybody. Small market team, the youngest team in the league, based in Oklahoma, never won a championship. The lack of respect is inevitable. We have the players to make a run in the playoffs. We have the pieces to have a championship team. we have some weapons on offense. We commit to playing defense, and SGA is an MVP candidate. And Chet Holmgren's rim protection and presence on the boards is huge. But we will always be overlooked and disrespected until we change the narrative. You can't just stack big moments and impressive seasons. The only way to get that respect around the league is winning playoff games. Show me you can go deep into the playoffs and come out of the West. Then we can talk about how serious of a team OKC is. I do, however, think OKC has the best roster in the league. It does not sound silly to say they belong. They've already shown they belong. And I think they're prepared for what comes next because they're a true battle-tested team, and they proved already they can beat anybody. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate the love and support. I'm going to wrap this video up now. It's been a pleasure, as always. Really appreciate you guys stopping by and joining me for a chat and everything. Without you guys, none of this is possible. So I'll say one thing. If you guys haven't already hit the subscribe button, please do so. Please make sure you smash the subscribe button for me. Help me get to my goal and help this channel continue to grow. We're building a community over here. So I thank you guys. You guys can also find me on TikTok, the Sports Judge 85. You guys can also find me on Instagram, Sports Judge 85. I'm all over the place. But guys, enjoy the weekend. Enjoy your Saturday. Enjoy the games, whatever game you're watching today. Take care. We'll talk again soon. I'm out of here. Peace.